Hi everybody, Christy here. I am going to be starting a new series called Genetics Matter. In this series, we are going to be exploring how each breed of dogs have different genetics that have been selectively bred over time for different jobs and tasks. Today though, we're going to explore the fact that those motivations, those drives that we got to selectively breed came from somewhere, and where they came from were wolves. Dogs are genetically 99% wolf. And I know that this is not a popular theory any longer. People do not like to discuss this. Those who are in favor of raw feeding will say that they're 99% wolf, and if they were out in the wild, that's what they'd be eating. Those who are not in favor say, yeah, but they're not wolves. But science shows us that they're closer to wolves than not. This cat's gonna knock over my coffee. Okay, even still though, I know we're not here to discuss diet or food, but we could. Even still, some training theories, like the alpha theory that's used in training, is still pretty popular amongst some dog trainers, and there are people who say that it's not right because dogs are not wolves. David Meach is the person who came out and coined the term alpha. He was exploring, I'm so sorry, the cat just bumped that tripod. He was observing captive wolves, and he coined the term alpha, and that there was very specific leadership that would be developed in captive wolves. He later on came out, which I love and respect people who can do this, and changed his mind. He publicly announced that he no longer felt that was right, because it's not the same thing when you observe wild wolves. Wild wolves have families, family units. There's some fluidity to leadership that you just don't see in captive wolves. So when David Meach came out and said that alpha was no longer a real term in reference to wolves, wild wolves, certain bodies of dog training ran with that and said alpha isn't right, and we've used this to create some like force-free or strict reinforcement-based methods. Nothing wrong with being as kind to our animals as possible. This series is meant to explore how we can actually be as kind to our animals as possible. But I do want to note here that our dogs are not wild either. They are in fact captive 99% wolves. They're captive. In captivity, so David Meach, he was observing captive wolves. They were taking members from different packs and putting them into captivity together. And so they were having to have strict hierarchies developed, and that you don't see when they're naturally developed, packs are naturally developed in the wild. Once again, our dogs are not wild. They are in fact captive. And we are pulling dogs from different breeders, different rescues, and we're pulling them into captivity together. So we do very much see hierarchies that get developed in our homes with our dogs. I do have a different series being developed here on this channel as well on how to live with multiple dogs or living with multiple dogs. So you can pop on over there and explore that one too if you're having struggles between multiple dogs. But what I want to say is dogs, not wolves, that 1% that makes them a different species, dogs do not cooperate well with each other. Wolves in the wild have been shown to cooperate beautifully together, while our dogs are selectively bred to cooperate beautifully with us. So there are some differences between the species, but the motivations remain the same. So that little digress there, I'm so sorry, but I wanted to make that clear because I know that there will be arguments that come up. So let me just go ahead and answer those questions now. Our dogs are captive, and they are different families getting pulled into captivity together. So dogs do create strict, linear hierarchies. But each dog, as individuals, have motivations. Each breed has motivations that were selectively bred for tasks and jobs. And those motivations came from wolves. All right, so hopefully we're all on the same page now. Let's move on. Those motivations, I hope you can see the board, is roam. Best thought of is walking. Track. Best thought of is scenting, nose work, odor. Chasing, self-explanatory. Catch, kill, dissect. Wolves would be killing. They would be killing in the need for consumption, for sustenance, and then protect territory. So roam, track, chase, kill, protect territory. Through selective breeding, we have either exaggerated or tempered one or more of these 5 motivations. So when we look at Huskies, Huskies were bred with an exaggerated need to roam. The average wolf pack will travel up to 50 miles to hunt every day. Huskies can easily go to 150 miles running, pulling a sled, no problem. They love to roam. They need to roam. Please do not bring a Husky into your house if you're not prepared to walk, okay? So, moving on. We know that our scent hounds have been bred with a stronger desire, a stronger need, an exaggerated need to track, to scent, to find odor. Chasing. All dogs want to chase. And I'm going to tell you, all dogs, regardless of size, regardless of breed, your Chihuahua still wants to go for a walk. They just don't need to go as long as Huskies, right? So keep that in mind, that your Chihuahua is still 99% wolf and still has a motivation to roam. All right, and they still have a motivation to smell things. Your brachycephalic dogs, pugs and French bulldogs and the whatnot, they still have better olfactory senses than we do, and they still want to track. They still want to sniff things. They want to do it. They just might not want to do it as profoundly as a bloodhound. All right, so all of these 5 things reside in each dog, no matter what the size or breed, but they've just been exaggerated in some, okay? So catch, kill, and dissect. Wolves would be catching something to eat it, but Jack Russells have been bred with a higher propensity to indiscriminate killing. Jack Russells, you ever see them clear a field? They are just killing rodents. Not to eat them, just to indiscriminately kill. We have exaggerated the wants to kill things in Jack Russells, in a lot of terriers, in fact. All right, so, and then protect territory. This one is probably one of the most misunderstood categories because it always brings about feelings or thoughts of aggression. But in reality, protect territory can look like marking, urination marking, and sniffing out territory. So the average wolf pack has a radius of 30 to 50 miles. And in addition to hunting, they travel those 30 to 50 miles to lay out their territory through urination marking and to see, to sniff, to smell who's nearby. All right, so protecting territory, healthy wolves, I'm gonna be clear for that for a second. Healthy wolves are not looking for confrontation. Most healthy dogs are not looking for confrontation. I'm gonna get to that in just a second though, because I said most, and I wanna be super clear about things. So healthy wolves, healthy dogs are not looking for confrontation. So protecting territory can look like scanning. We're scanning the environment. It can look like urination marking. It can look like sniffing to see who's nearby, which then kind of like they're all kind of tied in together, right? Protecting territory can include roaming and tracking, right? So in order for our dogs to be truly content in our homes, in their own skin, with their lives, we need to be providing, if we're being the best alpha, the best leader, the best guardian, the best pet parent, I don't care what you describe yourself as, if you are being the best you can be for your dog, you're providing you're providing these 5 motivations to your dogs at any given point. Some people get stuck with the roam. We get stuck walking. We walk, and we forget that we have these other motivations that we do need to tap into. I have a really great story about this, bear with me. I had a client several years ago. She came in for leash reactivity, some destruction. The dog was young, he was under a year, and she walked him in and he looked like a border collie. He was a black and white border collie. If anybody saw him, you would say the same, border collie. And with the reactivity, we did some counter conditioning reactivity protocols. We worked on some obedience, but in addition, I was doing exercises that were working him as a border collie. So this included the herding game, tri-ball, things that allowed him to express herding desires. Nothing was working, and this was very strange. I felt like this was very bizarre because once you work a breed, once you work a dog, specifically how they were bred to work, you begin to see great changes. I did decide to change tactics and I went into nose work with him. My main motivation for this was it's a very mindful exercise, and sniffing is an energy lowering activity. It brings energy lower. Since he had reactivity, I wanted to bring his energy down, and sniffing is a very mindful activity. Tracking an odor specifically is very mindful, and it can take the dog's mind off of what's happening around the world, in the world around them. So we ended up doing nose work, and he, do you need me?
Yes. We're ordering from Bozzies.
I'm good. No, I know. I'm good.
Like Greek stuff.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank
sure?
you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So sorry. Anyway, he ended up doing so well with this. One lesson of nose work, and his owner went and worked with him for a week. So sorry, that distracted me. And his owner went and worked with him for a week, and the next time she returned, she left him in the car, came into the store, hid his odor. There was an adoption happening with greyhounds. It's a pet store, so there was food and treats and toys everywhere. Hid his odor, brought him in, and told him his search cue. He tuned out everything to find this odor. To me, it was remarkable. One week of training, and this was a remarkable difference in this dog. Several weeks after our last lesson, she contacted me back. She sent me an email and said that she had a DNA test done, and it turned out that this Border Collie was actually 95% bloodhound. Who knew? At this moment, as a trainer, I made the decision to not work. This is a personal decision for me to not work with a mixed breed dog until a DNA test has been done, because you don't really know what you're working. And had I known that what motivation was truly driving that dog was tracking, was scent work, we could have made paramount differences sooner in his training than we did. This is all important because what was happening to this dog psychologically was he had a motivation that he needed to express and he couldn't. He was not being provided an outlet for it, and because of this, the behaviors that were produced because of that was reactivity and destruction. For owners and for trainers alike, this means that we don't have to work on the reactivity specifically, necessarily. Sometimes we do. I'm not saying forego all of your reactivity training. What I'm saying is if that's not giving you all you need to be making sure you're touching on one of these other motivations, right? And you need to know what breed you're working with, and you need to know the breed, understand the breed, so you know how to properly provide this outlet. We will be discussing this in the future because I know this is going to leave people with a ridiculous amount of questions, because I'm not saying that your dog should be able to chase indiscriminately whenever they feel like. There's going to be rules and discipline put into these 5 motivations because we're in a relationship with our dogs, and I am trying to provide you as the human the understanding of how to be the best counterpart. This end of the relationship, how to be the best at this end of the relationship, and then we will go ahead and we will discuss how they can be the best end of their relationship. So I can take you for a walk, but that doesn't mean rip my arm out, right? We're gonna go into all of that, how as a relationship we can be better. But we have to work on our side first. We have to work on this side first. And that first step is understanding your dog, their motivations, the breeds you have, so on and so forth, their origins, everything, okay? So we don't have to work on the problem behavior specifically, because that problem behavior is actually just a symptom of one of these motivations not being met, one of these drives and desires not being met. Meet those desires and you will see a dramatic decrease in your problem behaviors, okay? Now, like I said, don't forgo all of your reactivity protocols. Look at that protocol or BAT, whatever you may be using. You're not going to forgo all of those. What I'm saying though is those are not complete. We need to complete the puzzle with this side of it. All right. Okay, so moving right along here, that's a really fun story. And like I said, I won't work a mixed breed. I won't train with a mixed breed until a DNA test has been done, because I really want to know what is motivating that dog. So as we go through this series, we are going to explore the different breeds of dogs, what was exaggerated in them, which one of these 5 motivations has been exaggerated in them, and what that means for them behaviorally. All right, so stay tuned for your breed, or you can request your breed in the comments below.